Blumba Chicken Chow Mein, Mkhetwa, aka Big War, and a whole bunch of other AKAs. The Sobering Podcast, Season 8, Episode 21? 22?
21.
I wish it was 25.
I also wish it was 25. Hey,
that would have been special. That would have been
just out of
special.
we'll just call it 25. Yo, it's Big Fred, aka Young Carabiner, because I stay in the loop.
Is this me?
Kitso my fates.
Who we got today?
Oh,
Special.
big plug.
Long
Plug.
time coming.
Plug
Kelly
talk.
Machiavelli.
Finally, dog. Finally.
You know, Bladderphonia's finest.
Yo,
Kilo.
the Basses, Petty
Yeah.
Basses, very old.
Culture Vulture author.
For sure.
Oh my word.
For sure.
Live from Pelibassus.
Galaxy Boy Cypher smash
Yeah,
killer.
for sure. That's culture.
Artist on the rise winner.
Yes, sir.
Yo, Peli Machiavelli, man. The plug. Welcome. Don
Yeah.
Kilo.
Yeah,
Well,
nah, it's a
round of
pleasure to be
applause.
here, dog. This is actually one of the interviews I was looking forward to. Yeah. And since we're here now, the timing is right. Let's do this.
Yeah, man, because it's been a while, man. We've been like fans and supporters
Yeah.
for a long time, and every time
Yeah.
we bump into each other, the conversations that we have, and it's like, yo, when are you coming through? And you
Yeah.
always say like when the time is right.
Yeah. And I feel like the time is right now. The sophomore album. This is the first interview actually that's gonna be in depth about a whole lot of things. And yeah.
Yeah.
It's a special one to do it with you guys because I feel like you guys really follow the culture into detail, and like even before you interview an artist, like y'all know the come up, what it's been like, you feel me, where the brood is really from and stuff like that. And like it's an honor to do interviews with guys that actually contribute to the culture in a positive way. No controversies whatsoever. Yes, sir.
Shout out for that, yo.
All right,
Yeah.
big shout out. I mean, I guess it's only fair that we follow the timeline and you know
Yeah.
delve deep into where Kilo started, you know.
Yeah.
And I think for a lot of us, like if we follow it, we got wind of you
Yeah.
in the Galaxy Boy Cypher days.
Yeah.
But it was like a different Kilo to
Crazy times at that time as well. Yeah, I
Yeah.
had to learn a lot at that time because I was still in the streets, and I was in the streets like deep in the streets at that time, dog. Like I actually had to have a chat with Todd for me to actually consider like, should I actually pursue this music thing? Because at the time when I was still trapping, I was trapping with my childhood homie, Los. But Los always knew like I had a thing for music when we were in high school. He was doing like consumer studies and stuff like that, right? And then they had a music teacher. He went to Voortrekkerwachter High School, and he would pull up to the music teacher and be like, yo, a homie of mine is actually a musician. Can I borrow this book on like music law or like the music business? And then he'll come back from school and be like, hey, Joe, go crazy book at how maybe you can grasp like something that could benefit you in future. Not knowing that me reading that stuff, I was falling more in love with like pursuing art and like being a musician as like a career. And then guys like Curry Booming, that's the homie I was sitting down with, have really influenced me in a more positive way because I don't know, for those who don't know, like I've actually been making music for the longest time. Like the first song I actually recorded was in 2008. And this was because a homie called Ellen from Pretoria West in West Park, he used to play around with FL Studio ever since he was a kid. He told me the first FL Studio he used was FL7. You feel me? So he used to be in a dance group called Critical Motion back when Cap City, Rap City days. He used to pop lock and whatnot. And then he was also crazy with making beats. And then Klaus actually told him to pull up to the hood. This other homie of mine, he stays in Romano Street. His name is Majosi. He had a back room in Peli, Baby Zambamo or Ghetto. So he had a console out there, and every time we would chill out there. And then the homie pulled up with his setup, and then we set it up there. And I think the song we recorded was called Balling is a Habit or something like that. Crazy, dog, because I used to be heavily influenced by Lil Wayne. And there's a big homie called T-Bag. He used to host a show called Mashayedi.
GTFM.
Yeah. Top Stereo.
Yeah,
You feel me?
remember that shit.
It was him, T-Bag, somebody. I forgot who the other third big homie was, right? Hey. So this homie, he was Gloss's neighbor, the OG, right?
Yeah.
And then he was hosting this show, and it was a prime show. If you're from Pretoria, like a lot of people would tune into it. So those demos we were recording, right? Unmixed, unmastered. We had them on a Prinko CD, and Klaus would play A&R and manage at the time, and he would pitch to the OG saying, yo, why don't you give us a chance to pull up to the show? It's like, you little niggas trying to put my job on the line. Like, if I put you there, you can't be swearing and saying all this Peli slang, crazy stuff like that. And then one time he was like, actually, pull up tomorrow. And I think it was a Wednesday. Hey, so my older brother, he had a homie who had an Avanza, right? Klaus was there playing road manager, saying, hey, Joe, petrol, could you take us to this thing? You really want to pull up there? And then we had a group, we called ourselves the League, like 24/7 hustlers, right? And then it was me, the producer, Ellen, and a homie called Chaotic from West Park, and a homie from Montana, Pretoria North, called Breezy, right? And the songs that we would make, like as youngins, because this was like early high school, like 2008, 2009, we put those songs in the Prinko, went to Top Stereo. And then I think that's where my music actually got a sense of like having like substance to what I was saying, because the big homie put us on the spot. We did an interview. My cousin actually called in saying, yo, come on, hi, yo, whatnot, right? And then when they told us to freestyle, dog, I was cursing. Like I was saying some crazy shit, like something Wayne would say in his prime, you feel me?
Yeah.
And then the big homie sort of...
rapping Spitori kana kuyo.
I was rapping like... in 2008, I wasn't rapping in Spitori. So the rapping in Spitori thing actually happened like late 2009, 2010, right? When the World Cup came through. So this conversation is actually what inspired the rapping in Spitori thing. After the interview, one of the songs we were playing was swearing and cursing. The OG is like a pep talk, pull up, youngins. He's like, Lena, I told you you're gonna put my line on a job. Like, why are you coming here with like unmixed songs, unmastered songs? Because we didn't really have knowledge of that at the time, right? And then he could actually tell, like, who do you guys listen to? And me, like, the English stuff, like I was listening to a lot of like backpack rap, like Bob Papoose, Chino XL, and like a homie of mine was also plugging me with like old school hip hop. And like I was listening to Boy Immortal Technique. So I was too caught up in that Cap City, Rap City era of like, yo, lyrically, sabbatical, what. You feel me?
Go dance with the devil.
So when we had to talk with the OG, he was like, hey Joe, we're not umfana peli, you feel me? And you know the street that you're from, what it's known for, and the people that you grew up around. Your uncle is a prominent figure in our hood, like Black Rock, you feel me? Like, you should speak about that. So he was like, when you guys are ready next time, I'm willing to do another interview for y'all. And then the group sort of broke up because of Chaotic was really like an academic bro, and he was a great rapper. His production was crazy, and then the homies being in West Park, I'm in Paley. I'd only link up with Breezy when it was school holidays because it come from Montana, come to Paley. And then when I was in class, right, the homie Killer X, the homie that I put on King's Gambit on Peli Machiavelli, that's actually the bro that I've like forged the sound of me rapping in Spitori with. So I started now. The first Vinex song I actually recorded was a song called Street Riders. It was on a Notorious B.I.G. beat. Big Papa, yeah. So I was going like, this is dedicated to Manyora Watsago di Trat, like something like along those lines of like Manyora Watsago di Trateng, what it's like to be, and I was actually storytelling in the song, crazy. I need to send you all this song. So
Please.
From that song, I was like, yo, actually rapping in Spitori is easy. But I couldn't write it like the way, because my homies, I went to school in Lodium, which is like a colored / Indian community, you feel me? And I went to school there most of my life, like primary school, high school. And I think the influence to music and my writing actually happened in high school because, the high school I was at is close to a place called White Blocks. This is like Lodium has like a suburban side, and then White Blocks is like, White Blocks is crazy. I actually shot Ghetto Angels out there. So all those Indian homies that are in the video, that was where it's at. Crazy how it's set up as well. There's a police station right next to the blocks, right? And then like we were just kids being naughty. Also, we had a couple dealers that were slinging weed at us for the low at the time. And like, I don't know if you guys know, like Indians always smoke some premium weed.
I had no idea.
You feel me? Like for real, dog. Like when it comes to PTX, like when there's a strain called cheese was popular in PTA because of those bros. Like we were coming to school with like 10 rand bankies and it's full and it's fat. You feel me? Like you can roll 7 blunts out of that. Those homies are selling us a 10 rand banky that can only roll like 1 or 2 joints and stuff like that. So growing up there, I used to now talk about the stuff that would happen in school. And me and Killer X, he used to call himself Critic at the time. I call myself Nazy because of the Weezy influence. Like everybody had a ZY at the end, you feel me? So I went from calling myself Lil Nazy to Nazy, just Nazy. And then when I was in school, the stuff that would happen at school, like the banking, us being naughty and stuff like that. Also the homies that were popular in school, I would name drop them in these songs, right? And then it started becoming a popular thing. 2010, we put out a mixtape called Retla Graduate Amara. What a question mark, right? And then when I was at home, because there was like a passion project that I had with the homie, like I actually taught the homie how to record himself. I told him, yo, get the software called Mixcraft, because I got all this knowledge from that homie, Ellen, right?
Yeah.
Because he gave me the software, FL Studio. He told me he uses Mixcraft to record. And then us recording ourselves, I would record a verse, send it to him. Then he's a social homie. He'd go to Sasha, record the song, put it together. He's like, Joe, I also did the verse. I know you're good with the hooks. Because Lil Wayne and Drake, I won't lie, heavily influenced my sound. And the singing part of Kilo actually comes from listening to a whole lot of Drake, because I felt like I have a deep voice, right? But sometimes when I jump on these songs, you wouldn't really tell, because sometimes I deliver a verse in a high pitch like cadence, right? And then I did a tape called Mfanagasi Till I Die, which was a crazy one because I had this alter ego called Nasji. You feel me? This crazy talk. Yeah. So Nasji was talking smack about the homies in the hood. And this was influenced by Bazaar from D12, right? Like I used to listen to Kanaiva, Proof, and them. But every time I listened to Bazaar, he was always saying some crazy stuff like, sell crack to your Auntie Denise.
Yeah.
If Auntie Denise is short 40 cents, like stuff like that, I'll be like, hey, dog, how about like I have an alter ego where I just say random stuff, even about the people in the hood, no filter. And then I jump on the song again as Nazy. And then they say, who's that bro that you featuring there? He's talking shit. Like, and then I'd be like, yo, it's an other homie. It's an other home. And then when the homies actually caught out, they were like, why not I had a homie who liked playing Bacardi. His name was DJ Beans. So every time I was using that alter ego, right, I'd always shout him out, but I'd say, DJ Beans got man. And he'd be like, Joe, you putting me on the spot, but like the song is fire and stuff like that. So in high school, in 2010, we did a talent show. And at the talent show, I played them the songs from the tape, right? And then one homie who was in class with me, his name was Jacob. He was actually the homie that was like influencing the teacher who was in charge of the challenge shows to say, yo, how about these homies do a young rap? You have dancers, you have people playing different instruments and stuff like that. And then they let us jump on the stage and we closed the show, right? And we had a song called Kadocha. Hey, dog. This song is a cover to DJ Khaled's I'm on One, right?
Kadocha.
Yeah.
Fucking Kadocha.
That's crazy. You guys know that song. That's crazy. That's crazy. That's crazy.
It's easy to put
Just figured it out.
Yeah. So yeah, just figured it out. So it was going along the lines like Kale ke sangwale ya ke tshepe ke sa khona ke jutile ke mentse ba scoutile di khona no so ke dipudi tsore a ke sa le ho tse a se di kota ke thomilo itshola ka tocha ba ke ka tocha. You feel me? And I was actually talking about like the penalties we would face in school, like getting suspended because of the bunking and stuff like that. And that sort of gave me my first like hand experience of like being on stage, right? And I just loved the feeling of being on stage. It also gave me popularity in school, and I felt like that was a cool thing. So my homie Klaus on the side, I had a homie in the hood called Blocks. His name is Cabello. He called himself J Blocks. He was going to a school in the hood called Holy Trinity, right? So when Holy Trinity is maybe doing like a function for the students there and like people can come perform, he would convince the teachers at the local school that, yo, I actually have a crazy homie. Can we come perform and stuff like that? And then I'd go to his school and perform. And then for the longest time, a lot of people didn't really, like they couldn't put the face to the music because this was a time where Bluetooth was dominating. We had things like Shade and stuff like that, right? So the artwork of the song, you would get to only see it when you buy like the CD. Hey, dog.
Actual physical.
Yeah, we actually went gold. I won't lie. Like, hey, dog. We had like 100 Prinko CDs, right? And then I put
gold.
like a double disc, one side being Fana Kasi Till I Die, and the other side being Rita Graduate Tamara. And then we were selling it at school for $20. So after the talent show, the teachers knew me for like music and rap. So they would let us like put up posters to say, yo, mixtape out
That's
now.
dope.
You feel me?
That's dope.
Like I'd go to the internet shop, print that out, put it out there. And then these two shorties that we were in class with, one shorty I'm actually close with because my mom and her mom actually work for the same company. Her name is Petronella. Like when I was bunking school, she would be like, when I'm no staying and the people are asking for the tape, why don't you give me some of the discs and then I'll move them for you guys. Hey, dog, like, cause Kela, we were eating pies and stuff like that. Hey, dog, like off of this music stuff, right? And then I was supposed to actually fail grade 10 because of that music stuff. Because the crazy thing is, me and Klaus would catch a bus. Like he went to school in Tabatswani and I went to school in Lothian. And in primary school, I used to use transport. And then in high school, I would catch the bus, right? So Klaus stays 3 houses away from me up the street, right? Every time we go catch the bus, he pulls up, comes and knocks. Hey, Joe, it's time to go. Sometimes he pulls up on me. I'm recording a song. He's like, oh, what, Joe? Now in the morning, I'm like, Joe, I need to export this one quickly. Let me say. So he was actually telling the homies in the school that you guys rap ciphers. That shit is whack. Like my homie, like he's standing on business. He was making a song.
Making songs.
On our way to school. He just exported a song and doing stuff like that. Like I really fell in love with like the art of recording myself early, and then it started becoming a thing where in class, Killer X would look at me and be like, we had a friend called Paul Ndima. He'd be like, Echo. And the homie's like, Jovar feel di no, he's like, I'll level like Pamela Buga, I'll level let Damanoala. I feel Pamela Buga upon Sadaman, he's like, Jodimano Maladi P. So yeah, that's what I was like doing at the time that was really taken away from my academics, right? Then majority of the homies I started high school with, they failed grade 10. Like, hey, dog, there was some bad shit happening at that school at that time. We had a female principal whom no one was willing to listen to for the longest time. And the replacement actually came in the third term. So from the first term to the third term, bros were doing bad. The HOD was telling us, yo, you guys are becoming the worst school in the West District, whatnot. So I thought I was going to fail grade 10. Then when December came, a bunch of my homies failed. And then they couldn't understand how I made it. And I really made it because, like, I was doing, crazy enough, dog, I was doing maths and science, right? And I was really good at maths when I started high school. When I got to grade 9, grade 10, because of the banking and stuff, the workload was too heavy for me. Plus, when I get home, I was either playing soccer or I want to record. Play soccer, record. So my mom was actually lecturing me about like, you're always on the computer, And I say, like, I also use the computer for school stuff. But whenever like I get free time at home, nobody's around, just close all the doors, silence, record myself and stuff like that. And then grade 11, I failed.
I know grade 11 won't play.
Yo.
It needs attention.
So when I failed grade 11, crazy enough, that's where the break actually came from. Like I actually took a break from music. Let me backtrack this. So when I took a break from music, right, I started focusing more on my academics because me repeating grade 11, I just felt like it was revision, right? I get in class, like, you can't sit with him because me and Killer X actually failed. And then we told them we still want to do maths and science. They said, what?
So you were still in the same classes?
They put us in the maths lit class. Like, hey, dog, this was crazy. The first day of school, we bunked on purpose because the teachers actually told us, you guys are going to fail. Second day, when we came through, they put us in the maths lit class. Dog, we actually were like, nah, dog. let's go see the principal about this one. And he was like, how are you guys trying to go back to pure maths when I'm making your guys' lives simple?
Easy, yeah.
We were like, nah, that's not it.
That's not the one. That's not real
it.
maths.
So when they actually let us go back to doing pure maths, every time we try to sit together, they split us up. So I actually took a break then from like recording music. And then the whole Nazi thing now was making rounds in several schools in Pretoria, but bros didn't actually know who I was. So sometimes when I visit Killer X and Sosha, we'd find the kid passing, holding his phone like this, listening to my song. Then he's like, hey, Joe, I should damana with IP. Then he's like, oh, what was here, Natima? Then he'd be like, hey, Joe, rap a D track. Then when I rap it, he's like, oh, what Natima? Hey, dog. So when we were just like chilling, like after school, we would chill like, hey, dog, we would chill at a graveyard, right?
Yeah.
Because, hey, dog, hey, crazy. And the reason for this was because back then, smoking weed wasn't really a popular thing, right? So even in school, they were doing several tests on us. Most of our homies got expelled because of it, right? And my mom didn't know I smoke, right? And my uncle, my late uncle at the time, was like a huge weed dealer. You feel me? And I wasn't really smoking the weed at home because that would be like, hey, what do I tell my uncle now? You feel me? Because sometimes he would leave me after school and I would serve people. But to me, it was just the thing of like, I would even bring some for the homie so he can smoke after school because Killer X was smoking way before me, right? And I tell him, Joe, you know my uncle is big time like that. He's like, all right, well, now we just say, look at the loads, and man, too. And I'd be like, Joe, for real, dog. Then when we were chilling, like in our smoke sessions, we would play music, like play the music I was making. And then after I passed grade 11, right, going into matric, that's when the whole 25K thing actually happened. So I told my homie, I'm actually trying to go back to doing music. And he was like, I'm fine, I'm more South Africa. You feel me? Those guys have a high chance of making it. Mfana, you think us rapping in Spitori like this will actually make it? I'm like, I'm fine. You know what I'm gonna actually try? I'm gonna try making beats. I'm gonna actually learn how to make beats. Hey, dog, so I was watching a whole lot of tutorials at the time, and I can remember, because this was in 2012, right? There were guys like Lex Luger, there was a kid called Louis V, Metro Booming also, he was still a kid, Sunny Digital, Young Chop, Travis Scott was also coming up.
BD Mafia.
Yeah, and I feel like that's how I actually fell in love with trap music, because before then, I was rapping on instrumentals I would get from God instrumentals, hip instrumentals, and like do covers to my favorite songs. So when I started making trap beats, I sort of fell in love with like trap, right? And then we did this song called Frostan, which was a cover for Lil Reese and Chief Keef's I Don't Like. Nah. And then that was the first song I dropped with the name 25K. And then finished matric, but like with bad results, and I felt like I had to rewrite, right? So I qualified for subs. Is it subs when you like
Bridger. Was it bridging?
like you're allowed to rewrite.
You're allowed to rewrite the test.
Yeah.
I remember. I know what you're talking
So
about.
if you fail bad, you need to go through a whole academic year again.
Yeah.
So yeah, I rewrote, and then I think I had failed physics, and you can't really get your certificate with like failing. That's like a major subject when it comes to math and science. So I rewrote, I passed, and then when this was happening, I was staying with my aunt in Sosha because my like class because class was always like one grade below me, right? So when I failed, we were doing the same grade, and then he was also like, Joe, now I want to pass it. Just go there, figure your shit out, and then you come back. So as I was there, I was like, hey, Joe, I was actually playing when we were doing metric, going back to making beats and stuff like that. Now I'm here. And then when I rewrote, I passed, right? And when I went back home, like, yo, telling my mom, hey, sorry, I was playing around, whatnot, whatnot, whatnot. And then the homies were like, hey, Joe, what you finna do now? Because of the family situation at home, nah, I always knew like I wouldn't get an opportunity to like further my studies.
Yeah.
Best case scenario would be me applying for like a NEFSAS, and then that would be my way to going back to school because my mom uh, like really raised me as a single parent like most of my life. I lost my dad when I was in grade 7, and then my mom fell sick in 2010 till like 2011, yeah. And looking back now, I feel like also some of the stuff that I was saying in the music was really a reflection of that. And now, post high school, I'm figuring things out with Gloss, like, cause Gloss's uncle is also an OG of ours. He was in jail most of the time when we were in high school. So when he came out, we were already old. Like when Gloss's granny passed away, like the uncle was at the funeral with short steps and prison guards guarding him type shit.
Yeah.
And then when the OG came out, like we always knew, like Ejo, if we don't look outside what's going on around us,
Yeah.
we're gonna end up doing what's around us, right? And
Yeah.
what was going on around us was hectic. Like I grew up like because when my dad had a gun, but it was legal, right? But then my dad really didn't want me to be outside like that because growing up now, I see why. Because outside was the hectic stuff. You would see shootouts with like illegal firearms and stuff like that. Mama sweropo, mama why jigile kara, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So now it was like, fine, are we about to do this? Like, and then it started becoming a thing of like, fine. Me, I don't know, like, what are we finna do? So it started becoming a thing of like, Joe, my uncle passed away in 2011 as well. So most of his clientele was smoking like old OG weed, like that stepped on shit. You feel me? So I was like, hey Joe, my uncle was running a business. Also back home, it's like a chill spot for like the older OGs. They also watch soccer matches from time to time. It's basically like a tavern, like I'm saying on Project Baby. A lot of people don't really know that because I feel like that's a personal thing for me. So I said Kilo grew up in a tavern, and I think that also influenced my love for music because my uncle used to collect CDs and stuff like that. And then that's when I'd say we jumped off the porch to start being like, I'm fine. Me, I'm gonna figure this thing out. There's a plug in Lodium. My homie could plug me. I'm gonna do this. Hey, dog. Like I started, because off of the stuff I would watch, like on my computer, like The Wire.
Oh, yeah.
Talking my language
Yeah.
now.
Yeah,
That's that shit.
yeah, like The Sopranos, you feel me? I started falling in love with like trapping. And then it became a thing where I was like curious about a lot of things. And I was already like I had game, dog. I won't lie. And then I would tell my homie, Ejo, how do we package it in like a new age type of because our OGs would say lion matches box. Fill it with weed, cut it in half box, full box. So I'd hit up the spice shop there in Lodium, pull up there, get a few Ziplocs, and then I'd be like, Joe, for us to scale it, let's hit up Cash Crusaders. Go to Cash Crusaders, we're like, we're looking for a scale. They're like, hey, what are you kids doing with a scale? We're like, what rumile, mamasala, what not. Then the bro would sell us the scale. That's when me and Klaus started chefing. Like, feeding the streets. You feel me? Hey, dog. But now, hey, so, hey, dog, I actually had tons of conversations with my mom about this because my mom was like, are you really trying to take over your uncle's business? But your uncle was someone who was really known for that stuff. Like, are you really ready for that type of life? I put you through school and this is what you want to do. Why don't you get a job? So it was always a back and forth between me and my mom in terms of like, hey, lost. Maybe we should get jobs, though, because this one, hey, you feel me? Hey, sometimes my mom would tell me, Gloss mustn't come to my crib. Sometimes I couldn't go to Gloss's crib because every time we link up, it's these curious minds passing ideas to each other and actually executing it, right? Hey, dog. And me and Gloss also share the same sentiment because he lost his dad when he was in high school. I lost my dad when I was in primary. So when he lost his dad, like he didn't really have anybody to speak about it who could relate, right?
Yeah.
Because some homies we grew up with didn't have a dad from an early age. So it was that thing of like we had a brotherhood connection at a young age.
Yeah.
And then just us being naughty, trapping in the hood, it started becoming a thing. Like our curiosity now took us further than just selling weed now. Like, hey, now I was Nokia blue phone. Hey, like I was calling homies that I know from, cause I also learned that high school is actually a place for a lot of people to connect. Like we have people coming from different backgrounds and stuff like that. So I always kept contact of people like that. So I'd hit up a homie and be like, hey, this homie's name was Bruno, right? I hit him up, say, Echo, who do you know could get us this thing and this thing, this thing? And now we were going deeper into that game because selling weed, I feel like that was a friendly thing, you feel me? Even the people who would pull up on you, it's a homie who has his headphones on. It's like, hey, Joe, okay, you feel me? And now we were trying to tap into the deep stuff. And then, hey, homie introduced me to a plug. And then I went to the plug a couple times with him. Then after that, he was like, so you can establish like a relationship with the bro. That's when we started trapping the hectic stuff now. So it became a thing where now I'm building which is also why loyal to the plug and stuff like that, right? So I always told my homie, Echo, we're not gonna do this thing for long, dog. Cause now I won't lie, I was paranoid off of watching shows like The Wire and stuff like that. Hey, I think Gloss's phone was tapped once, like, hey, dog, crazy stuff.
In Italy.
Hey, like, hey, dog.
What made you think it was?
We almost, hey, because some other incident happened, dog, when we were trapping and some homie was sent by the feds and then they gave him money to come by, but lost peeped the play before it happened. So when he went to go approach the homie, he didn't have anything on him.
Oh, okay.
So they were like, yeah, but you answered our call, whatnot. Kante that homie was with the feds, whatnot. And then they searched Glass, Basagrisilo and stuff like from that time, they called us with that number. Gloss's phone was doing some weird shit. He had to throw away the SIM card and do a SIM swap. Hey, dog. Crazy times, right? And then, hey, so as I was in this phase of my life, like I felt like I had like near-death experiences like twice, right? Like we started making a whole lot of money off of trapping at the time. Like we were selling cat at the time. And if you really do your background check on the history of like Pelly, that wasn't like a low homie thing to do. But now, one OG of ours, his name is Punch. He was in that particular game, you feel me? And like now the traffic is different compared to like trapping weed and stuff like that. Like now you have a hot man pulling up a VR6, see? Then he calls you, you're not picking up. Then he goes into the yard, he's knocking there. Then my mom pulls up and like, who you looking for? Then you look, hey, then now, hey, it was like, me and my mom having these conversations, like, who are these? Because there's no way you can say this is your friend. Like,
Yeah.
like, who are these people pulling up to? It became a thing where, like, my mom was like, it's either you're gonna end up in jail or you're gonna end up dead. And at the time, I was really like ignorant, like, hey, Mama Zala, how to see, like, also when I don't know what J. Cole song that is, but he says you can't really tell your mom everything. I think it's on, if it's not Bunsen, I think it's on the Sideline Story.
Yeah.
Yeah. So at the time, me and Gloss are going through similar things, right? And then I'm trying to apply for jobs because of the academics, like the type of subjects I was doing in school. Like I really tried, dog. There was actually this other site that was like that had like an agency that was doing like workshops and also like putting out these posts to say if you have this much percentage in maths or physics, you can apply for this job and stuff like that. Dog, like I really tried like applying for that stuff. Like nothing came through. Even on Gloss's side, nothing came through. So I was like, we fucked, dog. Like
The CV what device? Like, do you go to like stores, retail? Were
dog.
you ever trying those?
Yeah, I was
trends?
like, I was really trying it on the internet. Like you see there when it says upload. Yeah, I would go to the internet cafe, fill in everything, and then print my certificate, ID, what, send it through. Dog, nothing for the longest time. And the only job I actually got to work was a temporary job because my homie's mom worked for the Department of Basic Education, and we had a job for like a month. And this was when we were still trapping, right? But the homie was actually trying to be like, I think they paid us like 4K, dog. We were like, every day going to, I'm like, dog, hey, dog. I was so mad. I was even telling the homie in fun.
How old are you at this time?
How old was I, dog? In 2014, 2015. I was 20 something. Like I was in my early 20s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so 4K is not a lot, man.
Dog, I was trapping. Hey, dog, on a good like weekend, we would make 4K in a day. You feel me? Go re-up, come back next day, 4K again, like stuff like that. And then when Gloss's dad passed away, he had a E30, a red one. Crazy enough, like most of my trap pictures, I barely delete them, so it's still on my IG. He had a red E30. Hey, we used to go to gigs with this thing. He had a red E30 that wasn't starting, right? And then as we were trapping, we were saving up money so we could build the box.
Yeah.
And it was red, but it was faded. So we had a big homie called Boy in Lotus. Dog, when we saved up what we were trapping, dog, that thing came out like cherry red. Still fresh, dog. Interior still fresh. Gloss was whipping it at the time. No license, nothing. Nesnalo Machelo, like crazy times. And then I think us being reckless, the first incident was I didn't really know how to drive. One time Gloss let me drive the car and I was sober. But then the way I was speeding, the brake slipped and the BMWs, it said side skirt. Some place in Pretoria North, and every time I pass there, it's a memory because there was a big boulder that was there that I bumped that like took off the road, and it's still there because they put like barricades there. And every time I pass, I tell my homies, that place right there, it gave me trauma. It gave me trauma. So the other incident being one time some dog, like I feel like my life I really need to write a book
It sounds like a movie.
shoot a movie, get a director. I don't know, dog. Need to pitch it to Netflix or something. But as we going through these things in life, there's several bros that we have lost to the streets, right? And that's why I make songs like Ghetto Angels and Hustler's Prayer. And really because of some hectic stuff. Like one homie of mine, his name is Isa. He just came back from doing 10 years. Like the first time he was in the club after that much time was when Matlero was doing his birthday celebration. And he used to hear me speak about Isa because he would also speak about his homies that are on lockdown. So it was a sentimental moment. Him seeing Isa saying, "Hey Joe, Isa's outside now, mfana, and ask me up and stuff like that." Like looking back to a homie like that, because I used to speak with him a lot, even when he was still in lockdown. Like he was really like a hectic bro, like a notorious figure, and then over time, like me conversating with him, I could tell like he's growing now. He's no longer on the dumb shit. Like, yo, I want to do whatnot. But don't get it twisted. He's still like, if someone play with Kilo, it's raps. You feel me? So homies like that, like being in contact with homies like that. And that was really what Kloss's uncle didn't really want us to tap into because he spent like max 20 years in jail.
Sheesh.
Yo.
And like crazy enough, I think by God's grace, dog, I've never really caught a case of some hectic shit that I used to do because of the paranoia of watching things like Sopranos.
And the wire.
Dog, I was always telling Kloss, dog, every time we trapping, I'm thinking the feds here have a board with us. And it's me, it's you there. Then it's all the homies that we plugging with all this shit, dog. It's gonna come down. The feds are gonna do a sweep one more time. And then, like crazy incidences that I had with the law, like close calls, like really, like because selling narcotics wasn't really a kid thing to do.
Yeah.
We had OGs calling the feds on us and stuff like that, right? But we were always like a couple moves ahead. OG calls the feds on us. They stop us in the Beamer, get out the car. Kloss is like light skin, you yellow bone, get out. Bah. They searching us, nothing. They're like, and like Lena every time driving around, what are you guys dropping off? Like, oh, no. And stuff like that. And one time when we were trapping, like before the Beamer, right? Hey, one time when we were trapping, we used to do this thing of like places where they would play music and host events, right? We would go there and trap there, right? And just chill there. Like I'd smoke my weed. Lost didn't smoke at the time. We just chilling. Then the clientele would come to us and be like, "Hey, Joe, wafana bala shibale, ngirele mo one, one more, getlo ice car, stuff like that." Hey, one time, a homie of ours knew we were trapping. So, kela tagabo 2 a.m. He's telling us, "Hey, Joe, I'd say, yeah, bobo, like as a collective." Then you are like, Joe, or pushanyana, maybe 30 minutes in not knowing what was gonna occur there. After that 30 minutes, late homie of ours, his name is Bobongi. Hey, they nicknamed him Kid Boo. You see the short margin Boo.
Oh, Kid Boo. Yeah.
Yeah, crazy homie, dog. Like to even think that someone like that like was really like walking amongst us. This homie went to Lodium as well. He went to a school called Himalaya. I went to Lodium Secondary School. This homie, when we were still in high school, he caught a body. And
Damn.
yeah, and hey, dog,
Hectic.
crazy shit. Post high school, he
What
caught like
age?
2 more
Wait.
bodies. Dog, like
Post high school, you got 2 more bodies.
Hey, the hot mans that would chill.
That's some King Von shit.
Hey, tamane, dog. That's why I was saying, hey, Machin Boo, Gamahar. Maranga se
Oh.
Akehane.
Obolaile mo,
Akehane.
Yeah. So that homie, hey, he got released when me and Kloss were in our trapping phase. I don't know how he got released, by the way. Hey.
But he
The
got out.
OGs, like he was out, nah? And me, I hadn't seen him. The OGs in my hood would speak about him as the Halitenge, Ababole, Kamoge show, Tiviana, his eyes are brown. Hey, dog, there's no Peli bro. If you could mention that name, who wouldn't tell you, Joe, Lelane Liti, Damane personal. Damane me brasa, look what he died saying, like stuff like that, right? And then when that homie was out, he was sort of like our muscle at the time because he was like, I'm fine. Those songs I was doing with Nas G, I had a song called Fana Blast, and this other homie of mine, we nicknamed him Gaddafi, right? So when we had a fallout, I made a song called Fuck Gaddafi. So in the song, I was saying, Uskati geta bobongi, auna plug ya gane. Like I was referencing the homie, and he was saying they used to play that song in jail, and he was telling the homies that hey,
that's me.
These are my little niggas that are saying this
me.
about me. He was like, I'm funny, you made me famous in there. So whatever you need me to write,
I got you.
Yo, I'm for you. I'm for you niggas and stuff like that. And then that homie that told us, Joe, let's leave. Nah, he was also present at that time. He left also, so it's just me and Klaus. Hey, we walking back home. As we walk back home, hey, dog, we bump into these three bros. Then they holler at Klaus. They're like, hey, Fetis, kopela la etemo. Like, hey, Nagitu. Hey, we walking. Hey, they following us. I'm like, hey, Joe, didn't so like hey, so the homie has his hand in his hoodie like this, right? So I'm thinking, that's a front move. Cause dog in my hood, hey, what let's the tricks, I won't lie, like Pelly. What let's the tricks, some homies get robbed with a hey. You see that thing that locks the door like a maybe it's a shooter, like a switch door, yeah. Homies will pull up on you midnight and say, tip, that thing. And then when they put it behind your head, it's cold. You're like, hey, you won't even look back and stuff like that. Hey, dog, those homies, I thought they were on some shit like that. Hey. Then they were like, hey, Vetis, pila when out. Hey. Then that's when it got serious, right? And we were holding product on us and money, right? Hey. But Klaus is, he really, like, has zero tolerance for like BS. I won't lie, dog. And he's light skin, quiet. You wouldn't really say, but if you know, you know. Hey, he's telling them, hey, amanyana. They're like, hey, this one out, right? Hey, so now the homie pulls out a pistol. He's like, you feel me? Like, hey, so now I'm like, I'm not a corporate. Because me, I was about to dash, but now when I saw the firearm, I was like, hey, nah. Let me see what's happening here. Hey, Gloss is still dog. The homie's pointing Gloss. Gloss is saying, nah, Brian. Hey, that homie's like, we're out. Hey, me, I'm like, pockets out. Give the homie product. I give him the money, right? Hey, so Gloss, they also empty his pockets, but they still want to tussle with him. Like, and he's still doing, hey, dog. We actually got lectured by the OG to say, yo, if y'all, anything like that happens again, like y'all need to give it up because I've also been in a situation like that and I'm a street bro. So it's not really worth losing. Like how much did they take from y'all? I think they took like 3K or stuff like you guys want to die over 3K. Hey, that homie was like, when out, hey, dog, he was like, click, the first time it didn't shoot.
Yeah, Gemma.
Hey, second time, click, it didn't shoot. Hey, that time, dog, I just saw the fragment hit the wall, man. I was like, out. Man, then those two homies that were with the homie that was holding the firearm, they still chasing me. Hey, dog, I'm falling. I'm seeing this bro. I'm like, we dead. We dead, for real. Hey, then I jumped the wall off, because this happened at the opposite street of our street, right? So I jumped, and there's a little homie of mine, his name is Noor. Hey, I knocked there by him. He's sleeping because he was sleeping outside. I knocked there by him. He opens up there. Hey, like Joe, like my jean
Torn.
is torn. I'm like, hey Joe, and crazy enough, my small phone fell, right? Hey, I'm telling him what happened. I don't even know where my homie is at. Hey, I'm like, Joe, Tleasy. Hey, what not. Then I'm like, hey Joe, phone. Hey, I'm calling my phone. Hey, these bros answer my phone. They're like, come on. Hey, dog, I'm like, that number, I need to SIM swap it. Now Klaus calls me. He's like, hey, Mona. He's like, hey, Joe, let's a guy. I'm like, hey, Joe, nuggets heavy, like a mosso. It's like a Joe, Arcopa, Naganale, other OG of ours. He passed away last year. A robbery gone wrong. They shot him in the head. So he's in the car with that homie. They spin in the block looking for those homies. He's like a and crazy enough, like my side of Pelly, like Pelly is actually split into two, right? It's Etzwichville and Salzville. So my side is closer to the informal settlement because there's a mountain and the shacks start from there.
Mshongoville.
Then they go deep into Moshongo, Jeffsville, Brazzaville, Extension 6, whatnot. Hey, dog. So we probably assumed like, those bros actually came from there because they were just wearing caps and hoodies. It wasn't even concealed, hiding or nothing like that. Hey, so when the OG told us, hey, Joe, if something like that happens to y'all, hey, don't like just give it up, right? Hey, I think, dog, that's when I started reflecting, like, yo, I actually need to do something about my
So
life.
at this time, are you still thinking about making music?
I quit music at that time. Like, I was just making beats, right? And then the beats were just laying there because the whole 25K thing, I didn't really see it becoming a thing, right?
Yeah.
Then this is where my homie Booming comes into play because I went to primary and high school with Booming. So Booming knew Thoughts, right? And he used to go to Fuck VIP and stuff like that. And every time he'd bump into us in the hood, we popping shit. Like we in the red Beamer, we're in the latest designer, the diesel, whatnot. And it's like, hey Joe, do you still make music? I'm like, I'm fine. I'm putting music. I'm gonna know He's like, Joe, if you really think about it, the stuff that you always posting, maybe IG, Facebook, like it's the stuff that you really live in. You feel me? Why don't you talk about your life? I'm like, I'm fine. I'm your own sorry, sir, I'm a police. Then, like, I had this thing of like finding rappers' email addresses on their profiles and just beat pack, send. Dog, I never got like one response. If I was getting random homies saying, yo, how much for a beat? I'm like, bro, chill. Not even trying to send this to you. You feel me? Hey, dog. So Booming actually was like, I'm fine to think about it. And then that's when I started going back into it. Like this was in 2015. Like 2015, I made a tape called the Papa Bagger tape. Crazy tape. I had to take it off the internet because of the voiceovers that were used there were actual recordings of people I grew up around talking some hectic stuff. Like, and I've also had this thing, like, if you listen to hip hop in a nutshell, like guys like Bo Jay-Z really come from that life and they really knew exactly when to do the switch that, yo, actually, there's actually this other Source interview where T.I. was in studio with Young Jeezy.
Yeah.
And when T.I. pulled up, Jeezy had the scale and the money counter on the table. And T.I. was like, whoa, bro, like, are you still in the streets like that? Like, I'm gonna pay you for a feature. Jeezy was like, bro, this is my life. And T.I. had to really tell him, yo, bro, nah. Like, you gotta stay in studio. Like, maybe if your homies are doing some shit like that, like, that would make sense, but not you directly. So I started now making this project very private because if I wasn't in the streets, this is what I was doing, right? And then Booming came through and told me Galaxy Boy and Hype are trying to do a cypher called Galaxy Boy Freestyle Fridays, right? Hey, dog, I was still trapping. Like, I was at the Galaxy Boy store with my phone blowing up, right? And I answered the OG are telling me, "Lafana dilo tse tsa lena tsa dipina bafana no re nyaka dilo lena." Crazy, dog. And at the time,
That's so
Booming
gangster.
is not even pulling up with me to the store, right? Booming
Yeah.
runs a clothing brand called Blaro, which is an abbreviation of Black Rock. He gave me a shirt that said Free Mashobane Blaro, right? I'd wear the shirt with like a chain, bandana, side back. Like I always had the side back look with me.
Yep. Yep.
Black infrared, Jordan 6s. And every time I was in the store freestyling, there would be like bros from like moms, different places like Pretoria East and stuff like that. But I could tell like I was sort of standing out because of the stuff that I was talking about. Hence why Tots had to have a chat with me. And I actually told him, bro, this is what I'm doing, like for real. He was like, fine, we need to like brand you, like need to clean up your image, IG, Frostana. Me, I have clientele because I'm close with an artist. And I've done work with a lot of artists like Botales, so I could plug you where I can. I can't say it's guaranteed, but like I'm gonna need you to like hold it down, like just focus on the music, right? And then there was this one, I can't forget this. I think I still have to post on my IG. It was me, Nokana. Yeah, he used to call himself Dodo.
Dodo, yep.
Trash God, and Tuli Stark. And we actually did a young PR run. We went to Top Stereo. DJ somebody was there hosting the show with Megan. And somebody was like, oh, will happen? And I used to, I'm like, no get up, I'm serious. So you're money, whatnot. Did a young PR thing. And then I dropped a song called Free Mashovane. Crazy story. Like, I'm not gonna speak about it into detail like that, but the song actually ended up getting me a cosign from the OG. Then Tots and Boomin designed a shirt that said Free Mashovane with like a globe on it. Like, you see the tat that I have here with the merit. Yeah, it was something like this, and then around it says Free Mashovane. But then the controversy around that, because it's quite political, because that T-shirt started becoming popular in PTA, and then now on the news, the police minister was saying stuff like, guys like Mashovane are not guys that you take as heroes. You don't print T-shirts and make songs about. So at the time, I was like, who are you talking about? Like,
Like, you're the only one that's doing
yeah, then the call had to come through that, hey, Joe, y'all need to pause the merch and just pipe down a bit, because this is still an open thing that I'm going through, you feel me? So off of like having experiences like that, dog, like I started getting smarter in like, because now I'm actually becoming an artist, right? What the visuals that I was doing, even though we were playing around in the hood, I never really shot where it's really active like that. Like, dog, some of the stuff that I've seen, I can't really even say on songs. And I felt like watching like guys like Bo, like the Migos and 21 Savage, and like, because I feel like that was a new wave of trappers, right? Watching guys like that sort of gave me like light in terms of like how to move, like coming from the streets, right? And I just felt like if I were to put Majin Buu in my music video, knowing that there's families fighting cases with him in a video is quite dumb for me, because I always also had that thing of like, Mwasimo States, they wouldn't really build a case off of like visuals 100%. And stuff like that. But I was always like very careful in terms of like how my videos would look. So Mayo, when we were shooting Culture Vulture as well, dog, I was actually telling him, because he would pick me up at my house, right? And then we scout locations and go shoot. He'd be like, Jobana, that's so weird, can we shoot there? I'm like, nah. He's like, why? Then he got to understand after that, hey, Kilo, actually, I get it. You feel me? So I started doing this thing of like, most of the stuff I would speak about, I either know it's a close case or there's nobody sliding about it, or it's something I can say on the record, other than just disrespecting other people or just putting other homies that I know in a bad light, or my OGs and stuff like that. So off of even the stuff I would go through with my mom at the house, because it was more of like, you need to respect home. Like, different people coming here, like, it was cool, your uncle did it. And your uncle didn't do it because it was a fun thing to do. You feel me? You have a whole life ahead of you. You could really do anything that you want with your life. So I started now, like, hey, when I trap, I'm in the streets. So if you catch me there, I'ma deal with it in the streets. Not now I'm bringing the fares to my mom's house, and then the embarrassment of, like, my mom put me through school, now she must, like. So I started becoming wiser in terms of, like, actually I need to now start moving correctly. So even with the homies that I would have around me, if I know you on some hectic stuff, I take you to my gig once. If anything happens there, we had smoke with other homies from another hood, and then now hey, dog, is too many incidents like that happened, where I had to sit down with homies and be like, fine, this is now a span for me. You feel me? Like, it's either when we go out, you don't drink, because I feel like the rowdiness within you comes out when you're drunk, and you feel like you need to show these homies and prove a point where you're really from, and that's not the point, right? So I started now saying, Joe, let me go to my gigs. And then the next day, I'll bring out the Hennessy bottle, we chill, it's cool. You feel me? That way, me and you will always get along. Because if I take you there, you wouldn't understand.
Yeah.
And there was really a whole lot of back and forth, because I would have a chat where I'm like, dog, think about it like this. If you work in a corporate space or you work a 9 to 5, imagine if I bring the same attitude that you're bringing when I'm working. I know
Yeah.
it looks like fun, but that wouldn't
That's
be
work.
respectful.
Yeah.
So a lot of homies got it, and to the homies that really didn't get it at the time, like, I really had to, like, make the decision to be like, yo, I'm becoming an artist now. And, like, when I went to homecoming, artist on the rise competition, the structure was really starting to show then, because I'd bring the homies that I know, these homies are here to support me and stuff like that. And also getting the cosign, I'm there for Artist on the Rise, and then
Yeah.
JR, Thuli, and this other homie from the States, I forgot. They were doing, and Slick, yeah, Slick was there as well, and Reese. Yeah, they were doing like workshops in 012 where they tell you, yo, this is entertainment law. And that's when I actually found out about a notification of works. And then I was like, I need to register my works, even though it's not even out on DSPs, just so I have an IP and stuff like that. Like, I started learning more about things like that. And then when I became a finalist for Artist on the Rise, it sort of propelled my career to me getting more gigs in Pretoria. And I really saw that as an opportunity, because I had put out music, but the one specific song I had put out that was doing well was Culture Vulture.
Yep.
And that's the song that really started the whole Kilo thing, being a national thing.
Yeah, that's the
because
wildfire.
yeah, dog. Most guys I used to listen to as a kid, but Basemaki, Litswaka, Basemaki has songs with Kulichana, Ketana, like.
Yeah.
That's why also Matlera on Running Off the
Running with the-
Bulls.
yeah, with the
yeah,
Bulls,
yeah. So those homies were fire. Like, even in high school, that's all we would listen to. But you wouldn't really convince someone outside of Pretoria that, yo, this is fire. They'd always be like, no, because they wouldn't get it, right? And I felt like I really need to commercialize my sound. Like, I had a lot of songs where I was explaining the deep street shit,
Yeah.
and I had to acknowledge that not everybody could relate
About
to
that,
that.
yeah.
But then when I was playing around songs like Culture Vulture, I was heavily influenced by, like, a Playboy Cardi at the time. You wouldn't say, because
No, I wouldn't know.
that's like the
I guess a little bit.
yeah, that's like the beat, yeah, but like the less rap and more melodic type a song. Ricky's older brother Shakes, he actually told me like you remind me of when Jay-Z started doing the flow ways like he's talking on a song. More than just somebody caliber, like he's actually putting you through it, which I feel like it's easier to tell the story. Like he was like, yo, I really appreciate you for that. And yeah, dog, that's really a summary in the shortest way I can sum it up. There's a lot of pieces I didn't really mention because maybe I could contradict myself in some things I could say there. Some homies still in jail. Some homies lost their lives. Yeah, those ones I'm willing to take to the grave with me for sure.
I just want to ask, Resalemo Culture Vulture, how do you link up with Milkshake? Because I'll tell you a funny story. Just before, when it was building up with Bacardi Holiday Club, a lot colder than this.
It was way colder than this.
A lot colder than this. He played it about 10 times. Like,
I think I counted
don't
7.
know.
Yeah.
Dog, you know,
back to back.
It was so cold. You must emphasize how cold it was. But this man Milkshake was on top of the deck with his shirt off.
With his shirt off.
And he kept talking about, yo, you're gonna know this song.
You're gonna know this song. You're gonna know this
You're
kid.
gonna know this kid. You're gonna know this song.
Yeah.
Crazy enough, 2 weeks ago, dog, I was doing a show and Milkshake was there and he was like, yo, you know I fuck with you, right? And then he kept giving me Don Julio shots. And I was like, that's the OG, I gotta hit it. And then crazy enough, that was actually a Venom thing, right? Like Venom is actually a key player when it comes to Pitori culture because when we didn't have gigs, me and Volker, Venom would take us to his gigs and he would let us do a 10-10 or like a 5-minute, or even if we do 2 songs on his sets. And we would be on the road with him and like, he actually introduced me to Milkshake after that moment because I saw the video. I'm like, hey, where is Milkshake getting this song? And Venom was like, he actually wants to meet you. Hey, we met at the Great Dane. He was with the late DJ Dimples as well. Hey, we in the club. Venom is playing there. I actually performed the song. So the song also, crazy enough, I didn't think it would be the song to change my life until I saw the reaction like people would give me when they heard the song. Every time I performed the song, people would go crazy. And then on Twitter, they would quote the lyrics like 5,000 laborar, 5,000. So it started becoming a thing. Like every Wednesday, I'd post and say 5,000 laborar. Hey, dog, I even ended up making merch inspired by Vigil with the inverted commas. And I said 5,000 laborar. Then I put a badge here that said, crazy enough, hey, it said loyal to the plug. Nah. And it said Sourceville, CO, 2015, something like that, like established in whatnot. And then when every time like I performed the song, right, people were going crazy. And this song was out on SoundCloud only, and Audio Mac. And then a year after, I actually told Booming Joe, how about this small rack that we get in from gigs, we save up, and then we hit up a homie who shoots videos to shoot a video for this song, even though it's 1 year.
After a year.
Yeah. And then I didn't even know how to upload. Most of my catalog was on SoundCloud. I figured out that if I open an F&B account and link it to PayPal, I can actually upload. Hey, when I uploaded, the streams were going crazy. Like the first week, you know, when Apple sends you like the 7-day like update of like how much you did, the song was still going. I'm like, this song is old. What are these people? Then when we shot the video, I couldn't believe people were still jamming to the song a year after.
Crazy. And I think it was just the simplicity of the song, right? But also there was a rawness. I think the vulgarness of it as well. The vulgarness also. Value.
Yeah. That's what Pori said. Yeah. Pori said in fun. When I've been like, the TV, and now I must start, right? I'm like, it's hot man. It's like fun. That's why I like because it's raw and it's kipitori.
Yeah.
Like that's what he was really saying. Like I could tell it's not mixed and mastered. But because it's a smash like that, they're gonna play regardless. Like I would get DJ Zandy tagging me saying, yo, 25K. Hey, he's playing it on YFM. I'm like, hey, that track, hey.
Yeah.
So I only took out the curse words. Whenever they'd say, send me the clean version of the song, say curse words out. Send it the way it was.
Yeah.
Even the video has the audio that's unmixed and unmastered. Crazy enough. Crazy.
And that song, man, a lot of the things that we'd see you with, is from that song that we identify you with that song.
Yeah.
Like, Diesel side, Diesel side.
He's
bag.
outside bag, Color Malenyato. Yeah, for sure.
It was crazy when you were rolling out stuff. You actually had side bags as well.
Yeah. I was dropping off the say Ricky
I still got
actually.
one.
Hey,
Yeah,
rest in
same.
peace to Ricky. He was like, yo, 25. What do you call? I actually have a video. Hey, what do you call this one? I'm like Macheka, because that's what we call it.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, I'm pulling out with my Macheka. I'm pulling out with my Macheka. This one is too much. It's too much. Hey, dog. Crazy. Yeah, crazy.
I don't know how much time we still have left, but yeah, I think it's an interesting journey that we've covered so far, and it's nice to see you in this light as well. But I think maybe let's just progress a bit further into the music now. Loyal to the plug,
Yeah.
and yeah, I mean we had a great listen to it earlier on.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, and by the time this comes out, the album would have been out.
Yeah.
Just on the title, Loyal to the Plug. Who's your plug now? Who are you loyal to?
I'm loyal to. I won't lie. My number one plug is my mom. Like I put her above everyone else, and I'd say next to that is the people that I have around me, my family, my close friends. Those are the people I'm loyal to, and next to that would be my fans. Hence why loyal to the plug, and I just also like always had this idea of like, because I've always had fans, but I didn't like actually have a name for them. And then, yeah, a lot of people were like, yo, call us kilos or what, some crazy stuff, dog. So I ended up like, with loyal to the plug, like I ended up saying, let me actually create like a loyalty club for my fan base. And then I refer to them as the clientele when I roll out this album, because that would make sense, because me saying stuff like they itching for kilo coke dope, you feel me? I'm talking about music, like it's product, and like them now coming back to me before I drop this album, they saying, yo, we itching, bro, we itching. So even though Jesus are telling me,
so
yo,
they're fiends.
yeah, you need to,
We're the fiends.
yeah, you need to feed the streets. You need to feed the streets. So I just sort of like gravitated towards the whole plug thing. Also, I grew up watching a whole lot of mafia stuff. Also, sharing sentiments with Doughboy as well.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, Matlera had to make me comfortable in wearing a suit. So even when the cover art to the album, being that picture that Lenzo took in Mars, he was like, yo, when we go to Mars, please bring a suit. I'm like, oh, what, Jody, suit to everywhere we going. It's like, yo, trust me, we're going to make it look gully in the trenches. And crazy enough, dog, those places that we were at is like the real trenches of Mars. And a part of the album was really inspired by that trip because of the conversations, like I said, when we were playing the album. Most of the stuff we were speaking about is actually playing out in our lives now. Like Matlera used to speak about, yo, bro, when I go to New York, you know, I'm gonna come with the, you know, cause Matlera, like, he loves boom bap as well.
Yep.
Like, he's really a scholar of hip hop. So now seeing him go overseas, like, dog, that's one homie, like, it'll never be weird between me and him. Like, I'm rooting for him. He's always rooting for me type shit. Like, when I see him out there, it's like, damn, that's the shit we used to speak about. So every time we link, I'm like, hey, Joe, it's like, yo, Joe, guess what Rocky told me, dog? We were chilling there, what? So looking back to the conversations we used to have and this thing playing out like this is humbling at first, and it's like it's not by chance that me and him met, not by coincidence. It's not by chance also that we here. Like, yeah, for real.
Yeah, that's crazy because I mean the first time when we were talking with my dad on the first interview we had, he hadn't met you yet at the time, and he was saying like, "Yo, you and Youngster, like the people that he relates to a lot, you know, and he'd love to meet you." And
And that's the like my favorite interview by him.
yeah,
Yeah, like
shout
when
out.
I had to go peep that interview because a homie of mine used to go to Tlaxdorp, and every time he comes back here, he showed me that nostalgic Nongoloza video. He was like, Joe, you need to meet this bro. Like crazy enough, like when I don't know how Slick saw it, but Slick put together the song with Matlera recording by him and me going when Matlera wasn't there. Then after the song, when he dropped in Jayam Volume 2, he was like, Joe, after this album, you two guys need to do something. Like, and it was genuine. Like Matlera was like, yo, bro, yeah, fuck with your shit, whatnot, whatnot. Hey, and then fast forward to us making champion music to where we at right now. It's a crazy thing.
It's
Like
beautiful.
it means it was bound to happen, like for real.
Definitely. I mean, and that's like a big collaborator, and it was that organic and quick as well. Another quick relationship that you've been like cultivating, and
Yeah.
it's reaping a lot of rewards is
Yeah.
you and Zuchi. You know,
Yeah, yo, me.
you know, he's curated both of the albums now. You
Yeah,
know,
Zuchi is God sent. I won't lie. Like off of me learning how to make beats, right? When I met Zoo, I was like, "Fuck making beats, dog." What? I'm like, dog, I'm with a multi-platinum engineer, and this bro, like, he has a very special ear, dog, and like, I feel like I won't lie, dog. Like guys like Zoo and Les, I feel like God sends people like that in my life for a reason. So it's deeper than just music. That's why it's always a respectful thing, like outside the studio, even when we're in studio, the chemistry that we have, like when I met Zoo, Booming was playing at an event in PTA called Cozy, Culture Vulture. Zoo was like, who's the homie's name? Took my handle. Then when he hit me up to pull up on him at the session, that's when I had just shot Culture Vulture music video. When I played him the music video, he was like, oh my God, bro. Like after dropping this single, I feel like you should just do you, do the features, keep going there. But we need to start working on an album. And Zoo actually said this because I actually had to give him a background of like, actually, I used to do this thing back then. And he was like, you need to give this sound an identity now. Because if you don't do it, someone else is going to come and claim it. And I feel like there's no one who's done it like you because I've worked with some of the notable PTA guys, and I feel like, Mfana, this is some new wave shit. And like, post having that conversation with Zoo to us dropping Peli Machiavelli, because when Zoo curated Peli Machiavelli and he sent me the masters to it, he was like, Mfana, if this album leaves the charts in the next year or two, me and you, we gotta restructure and rethink what we're doing. That means there's something we're doing wrong. Dog, like when I saw the success of what the intro did, Hustler's Prayer, Trap Jumping, like,
Trap jumping.
like
got the
Zoo
whole
really
house.
spoke it into existence, like the numbers. The album's still charting now. I feel like that wasn't like a self-proclaimed classic album. Me saying, yo, this is a classic. Like, the people were actually like, yo, this is a classic because we didn't have things like this when we were doing that album. I didn't have the opportunity to do Sobering. I didn't do a launch because it was COVID, post-COVID, and stuff like that. And looking back to creating something that really changed the game like that, to us being in studio again to work on an album like this is Yo, I don't know how to explain it, dog, but it's surreal to me. It's like it feels unreal, like really. But like big respect to Zoo. Zoo is a one of one individual. Like sometimes I think of myself like yo, I'm really special because of how I approach music and how it just flows out of me effortlessly. But when I think about guys like Zoo, it's like it gives me goosebumps all the time, though. Yeah, for real, for real.
Yeah. And shout out to Zoo, man. Shout out to Zoo. I think for me, like the last things that you also been speaking about, like how these things are like God given and it's like divine intervention. And we've seen you also just be very vocal about your spirituality as well. You know what I mean? I think you Muslim, if I'm not mistaken,
Yeah,
no?
yeah. So I was an Anglican Christian growing up, right, because of my grand and my mom. And then like just going through a lot of life incidents, like also doing my research on religion, like I actually got to find out that all the Abrahamic religions are related to each other, specifically
Yep.
Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, right? So me, my thing was really how do I explain this thing to my mom because I know my mom is like a praying woman and I need to explain to him that this is not an outside thing. Like the misconception around it could be like this looks like it's pagan or it looks like it's this. I had to explain to him like this is like monotheism, like believing in the one God, like Baba Mbakar Mulimo, Nkulunkulu and stuff like that. And like I think that has also been something that's been keeping me grounded as well because I've been a Muslim since 2011 and we're in 2024 now. So even the bad stuff I was doing, like the close calls I had with death, was like, uh, this is wrong. You feel me? That's why this is happening. Like this is wrong. Like yeah, but that's also been like a personal thing that I go through, and like guys like Matlera, whom I have a close relationship with, got to understand like what that means for me. So it's always respectful when it comes to things like that. And then most of my brothers that keep around me are Muslim as well. So every time he links with us, he starts calling people saying, "You homies are always on haram." I'm with my Muslim brothers now. We're only doing halal stuff, no haram, no haram, no haram. Hey, crazy dog.
Did going to school in Lodium have any influence on that?
Yeah, for sure. Because also reading a lot and understanding. Because when we were kids, we were just dumb. Like I actually used to make fun of the call of prayer, like the call to prayer. Be like, "Hey, Joe, I didn't got and stuff like that. Then when I grew older, I was like, now someone else is making fun about it, and I need to be patient enough to be like, maybe I should just explain to them why this is, because if I react like you can't, it just becomes like I'm an extremist like type of individual. So it's been a humbling experience. I won't lie, dog. Like also the person that I used to be before I was a Muslim, the teachers couldn't believe it, dog. They were like, no ways, bro, no. It could be anybody else here, not you. Are you, is it a phase? Are you interested or are you just being curious? Then when they actually saw that this is a real thing, they were like, hey, God is great. For real. Yeah, for real.
Yeah. Alhamdulillah.
Uh,
Alhamdulillah.
Allah
Yeah.
Alhamdulillah,
Allah
for
Akbar.
real, yeah.
I mean, dingat. I mean, but loyal to the plug is about to come out. Well, it's out when you guys are watching this. Um, Fire features curated by Zoo.
That's for real.
Big Les for real on a bulk of the production. Kilo spitting all of the fire
Crazy features.
and all of the jokes to the women. You know, you troll women a lot, bro. Chirete, tile patinka dieta tsa gogo ai.
Yo, I be saying that stuff a lot, dog. I be,
Ajiri cheese
yo.
kills. Oh, on the places,
Yeah.
ajiri cheese kills.
That's why I'm telling you about the person I was before I became a Muslim is bad, bro. Like even in school, I used to tease people a lot. And then now I really had the advantage because I was making songs teasing people.
Yeah.
But then it was too far for you to be like, hey, dog, I'd be like, I was looking at stuff like that in school. Like me and my homie, I'd be like, I'm finally, but now. You know when you tie your shoes like to the last core and then the top is just
And
like
you're
tied
putting
together
it-
like I'm finally I lost yeah, dog, like ish.
It's always funny, man. There's always a line trolling someone or trolling a
Yeah,
chick.
yeah,
I enjoy them a lot, man. They're hilarious, bro. It's like
Yeah.
the comic relief on the
Yeah.
street stuff because you say a lot of street ish and then
yeah.
there'll be that one funny line, you know?
Yeah, just the humor, yeah, and I don't know.
Trickles of humor.
Kilo is actually a jolly bro. Like, besides this deep stuff he's talking about, like, yeah,
Yeah.
That's
for
cool.
sure.
Last question before we wrap it up. King Gamma Casing.
Ega casing gama maguno tu. Crazy enough. Ega maguno tu gama casing. But crazy enough, dog. Like, there's a bunch of loyal to the plug notes in the suitcase and pictures of the people that I had featured on the album. Crazy enough, I didn't know Apple was gonna make the track list go live. Like with this rollout, shout out to Johnny Malepa as well, dog. Like I hit up Johnny when he was doing his own creative thing and he was overdoing like rollouts, right? Then I hit him up before we were even working on the album. I'm like, Joe, rollout, I'm telling you, we need to work together. Johnny was keen from the jump. He was like, because it's you, I'm going back to it, bro. Like he started sending me loyal to the plug ideas when me and Zoo were in the early like stages of us working on the album. And like the suitcase was also Matlera has one as well. That's my brother. He has the one that we were using when we were shooting Two-Headed Goat. So I actually intended to shoot like a piece of like me revealing the features of the album with the suitcase, just opening the suitcase, like oh the plug, whatnot. Then I like take out the pictures one by one. And then when the track list got revealed, I actually told the homies, Joe, let's go ahead and just shoot it. But like now it's up because all these names here, people are now anticipating what a song like that would feel like. And then the backup plan to that, because I had already shot the trailer with Warren. Yeah, the backup plan for that was the trailer. So I hit up OG on the phone and I told him, OG, I sent you a WeTransfer link. Once you check it out, I think I'm good to go. Then I told him what happened with the track list. He was like, I'm fine. Kind of what did he say? He said, no ruira dilo tsa go spiring, no se jambile mfa. So as shobele, a no ro ga ira nka o fila, are push. And then that's when I actually posted the trailer to the album. And that was Ruchi's idea, by the way. Like, cause OG actually hit me up and said he wants to direct a video from the album, right? Because I sent him the album like 2 weeks ago, so he's been listening to it like religiously. He said he has Pray for Pitori by Pounds
Yeah.
on his
Yeah.
playlist a lot.
Yeah.
And then when he heard this album, he was like, hey, le nabafana ba go Pitori link
Yeah,
la
Lita
mawaza.
Mawaza,
Like,
Lita
yeah.
Mawaza. I know.
It's going crazy.
Yeah, so him being a part of the album like that, I feel like that's an iconic thing as well. Shout out to him for that. And then, yeah, with the trailer, Zoo was like, Joe, doesn't have to be complicated. You feel me? Spotlight, OG, another OG, chopping it up. And that's the trailer.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey, let's shoot it and see how it comes out. And that's how it came out. Yeah.
Is there a reason why both albums end with a Matlera feature, dog?
Yeah. Like, okay, the music was really arranged to make sense why the song starts like that and then it ends off with like a transition that goes into the other song, right?
Yeah.
When it came to Untouchables, they really had to add additional music to when the song fades to go into
Into-
two-headed goat because I was like, Joe. 5:45, Matlara,
Yeah.
you gotta say two-headed goat. And people actually didn't think it was on the album, but there was
Yeah.
no way I was gonna
No. Fire.
leave a fire record like that off the album. Yeah.
Champion music boys.
Yep.
Tunta like.
Damien.
Love that song. Love that song. Man.
Yeah.
No, I
yeah.
didn't call him Buffett.
Yeah, no, can I record? We can
Yeah,
talk
it's
for
actually
long.
cold out here. I hope the people know. Shout out to everyone
Shout out
who
to
stayed.
everyone who
I hope
stayed
the people
around.
know, we were actually in the
Yeah.
cold to give you guys this interview, and like it was worth it in the end. Like
Oh man.
I'm really a fan of like the sobering, like for real, before anything else. And
Nah, we're a
Yeah.
fan of you. We're a fan of
we-
you.
we a
brother.
fan of
We're a
Kitso.
fan of you.
yeah, for sure,
Big
for
fans,
sure.
Big fans, man. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Ladies, kalot na dieta ta gogo alone now.
I mean, with that said,
Wanotlile go patinga ditsago kwayo. Then I said one on a song by J Smash and my homie Dewey man. There's a line I said, Wanobila, Sagotai disco. Hey, sorry.
Yo, man.
So I be saying some dumb
I
stuff
kill
like
it.
that. a lot.
Yeah, it's all like, shout out to my moms.
Shout out, guys, for hanging out.
For sure.